Mark Sanchez, Fox NFL analyst, former NFL quarterback, joining us on the program. Got a small sample size here with the new kickoff rules. Your reaction is what? I think you're on mute. You look,
Come on,
you look
amateur
good.
hour.
There, what's going on here?
Hour. I'm better that way. It's like a silent movie, you know. I'm
You
just
never
gonna put my
sounded
foot in
better.
my mouth anyway.
Okay.
6'2" and a quarter, 238 pounds. Hit me.
What were you when you played?
Like my first year, I was probably 225. So I weigh a lot more now than I did. And I think my second and third year, I got up to like, after my rookie year, I ended up at like 218, 219, so real light. And then my second, third, and fourth year, I got up to like almost 235 to start camp. So I'd end the season around 225.
Lamar Jackson is losing weight. Is that a good thing for Lamar Jackson?
I thought last year he was gaining weight. Remember, he like put on a little more muscle. He had a little more, curves to the arms and stuff. He looked like he was doing a little more TV arms, and just to, it's a brutal game, especially when you play that style like Lamar Jackson. Obviously, that wasn't necessarily my style, but I think a lot of it's the stress. It's the physical aspect of it, and you're just constantly burning calories, so you can't take in enough, and so you inevitably just start losing weight.
We have a small sample size on the new kickoff rule. Your reaction is what so far?
It's interesting. It reminds me of the XFL a couple years ago when we first saw it, and it just kind of looked like this foreign spring league thing. Now it's real. It's in the NFL. I think one of the biggest things that people don't realize is there's no more surprise onside kicks. Only the trailing team in the fourth quarter is allowed to declare that they're going to try for an onside kick, which eliminates, the Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints Super Bowl against the Colts, where he surprised them, boom, steal possession, and the rest is history. So I think that's a little unfortunate. But bottom line is this is going to incentivize essentially more of an offensive play, incentivize returns, and engage viewers and fans for a play that they think they're eliminating or reducing, high impact collisions, which I understand. And that makes sense. I think the teams that are going to figure this out fast are teams with great special teams coaches that collaborate with an offensive coordinator, or, somebody's going to throw out their swing tackle, like their sixth guy essentially on their offensive line of scrimmage, or maybe a couple tight ends, and have them, run essentially almost like counter plays, or go try and pick somebody off from left to right, and almost like a pulling guard, and spring your return. Because, if you kick it out of bounds or you miss the landing zone, you get the ball at the plus 40. So that's like a heck of a return in itself. And it puts a lot of pressure on those kickers. That's a heck of a kick on the opposite end of the field. So I'm curious to see how it goes as we get, once again, just a small sample size, but it's an interesting play, and it definitely makes you watch.
Yeah, it's hokey, but I think it's needed because I need to have some kind of movement on a kickoff instead of it just going into the end zone.
It's like it was a chance for people to go to the bathroom, go get a beer, go get a hot dog. Like it was like a relaxed play. And the NFL wants your attention at all times, which I totally understand. It's in some ways like the entertainment business. You just got to get eyeballs at all times, and this is another way to do it while keeping things safe. I think it could be really good and could be some electric plays this year.
I'm looking at your schedule for Fox this year. Week 1, you have Tennessee at Chicago.
Yes, sir.
What are you expecting out of Caleb Williams week 1?
Well, listen, you can't help, only because I've been through some of things like this as a quarterback in the NFL, but you can't help but feel bad a little bit for Justin Fields. Like they're doing everything for Caleb, setting him up the right way. Where was that a couple years ago? And now Fields has moved on, new scenery, change of pace and whatever. Okay, that's fine.
Did you start
for
week
Caleb,
1?
I did.
Okay.
I did, but I competed with Kellen Clemens in training camp, all the way through probably, I don't know, 2-3 weeks into training camp.
Okay.
But I mean, they knew Caleb was going to start, which is fine. whether has to compete for it or not. I think that's more of an old school mentality. But you got to realize this is like the Gen Z first NIL, paint the fingernails kind of kid. It's just a different thing that we're seeing, and he's about to potentially take over the NFL. And I think he's set up for success. I can't fault Ryan Poles. You gotta give him his due, because he's at least put him in a solid position with 3 outstanding receivers, and drafting Rome Odunze early in the first round. They already have DJ Moore, who accounted for like 40+% of their offense, only second to Tyreek Hill in the NFL of offensive percentage, which is unbelievable. And then you got a guy like Keenan Allen to help a guy like Rome Odunze, a rookie. You never get that kind of stuff. And when you do, those guys can really take advantage of it, and that can accelerate his learning curve and help him mature quickly, which is what Caleb's going to need. Now, with Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, he's, a structured guy, and Caleb, we know, has the ability to go off script. So my key there for their success is to find that sweet spot of when Caleb's going to have to understand that it's not, USC. This isn't all spread offense. This isn't, run around and play street ball. It happens, no doubt. It happens. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to drop back 3 or 4 times on a 15-play drive and convert third and mediums and get from 1 to 2 to 3 to potentially 4 with just one quick movement in the pocket, one shuffle, one slide, and then deliver a strike to a guy that's essentially covered. He's open. He's NFL open, which is basically covered. And it's going to be an adjustment. And so where's the time for him to ad lib? Understanding that when it's third and half a mile from your own 15-yard line, we don't need to take another sack here. This might be the time to just throw one away and dirt it, or fall down and take a sack, do the old Peyton Manning, just get down and move on with your life and don't give the defense any momentum kind of thing. So there's going to be some growing pains with that, I think, like any rookie quarterback. But man, is he fun to watch. And I was bummed. I wanted to see him in that early game, obviously just for me, because we're calling the game. Selfishly, I'd love to see him play and see him get more reps. But I understand why they take care of him and make sure he's healthy for week 1. They look pretty bad with a bunch of egg on their face if something were to happen.
Who's the best quarterback you've seen who would throw guys open?
Ooh. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Kirk Cousins last year, before he got hurt, was on an absolute heater. Like, he was on MVP level heater. Matthew Stafford last year could have easily been the MVP. If they beat Detroit in that playoff game, I mean, he took a rookie receiver and made him one of the top receivers in the league like that. That doesn't happen. It's, great coordinators, great receiver coaches, the great offensive head coach in McVay. But Stafford was just unbelievable with his back pedal and arm talent. I think he's finally starting to get the credit that he really deserves. And that's crazy saying that after he's already won a Super Bowl. But then I'll tell you the best practice. So we get the privilege of going to practice on Fridays, and for the home team of the team we're going to call, right? So we fly in, and different teams treat, broadcast crews differently. Some are more inviting than others. Some, they kind of close everything off and just kind of, hey, sit in the corner and we'll bring our players out to you kind of thing. Well, we were at the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think you know where I'm going with this, because we're talking about the best quarterbacks throwing guys open. And when you watch this Friday practice, and once you see different practices from different places, you can start to compare, right? It's like a litter of puppies. One's a little more dominant, one's a little more docile, one's a little more aggressive, whatever. So you can see them all together. Well, once you have a real sample size, I know what a Friday practice looks like. A good one where you walk out like, damn, those guys are ready to play. And another one where you're like, I don't know if they're really buying what the coach is selling. And you see all the signage in the building, like, let's win our way, and, discipline, excellence, blah, 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 all their motivating factors and whatever, right? So you get a lot of information. But this Friday practice, long story longer, was one of the most amazing practices I've ever seen in my life. I swear to you, the ball did not touch the ground until the second to last play, and you collectively heard the entire Chiefs team go, oh, And it's like they knew Mahomes was throwing a no-hitter during practice. It was the craziest thing I've seen. And I'm watching Kelsey run as hard as he can to catch passes. I'm seeing guys fall on the ground. I'm seeing Mahomes move, slide, boom. And it's real. This is like real live action. And you see a lot of Friday practices where you're just kind of like, in turf shoes and everybody's brother-in-law and nobody's really blocking. Like, come on, man. And this was incredible. But one of the tight ends dropped the ball and everybody, it was like a back corner, like touchdown in the end zone, like his shining moment of this Friday practice. And he drops it right through the wickets. And everybody goes, oh.
We're talking to Mark Sanchez, Fox NFL analyst, former NFL quarterback, and USC quarterback. How much pressure is Lincoln Riley under at USC this season?
Well, I think it's an interesting year because of the switch to the Big Ten. I think there's always pressure when you're the head coach or the quarterback of some place like USC, which is a good thing. But listen, bottom line is, we're going to have to win. And we're going to have to win a lot of games in some tough environments. Going to Michigan in the Big House, that's going to be a monster. I was, selfishly hoping for maybe a Detroit Lions game around that time so I could catch my guys in Michigan. But opening up with LSU, that's going to kind of set the tone for the year. And, the Tigers going to be ready to play, but so are the Trojans. I'm always going to be rooting for my guys and always hopeful for Coach Lincoln Riley. I think he's done a great job so far. And I'm curious to see how things shake out at the quarterback position, right? Because you have this absolute superstar, and it's almost like Elvis has left the building. Okay, well, who's up? Who's the next guy? And is it Miller Moss? Is it Mayava, the kid from UNLV? So all signs point to Miller right now, but I'm curious to see how he does because he's going to be able to fly under the radar a little bit. We saw how he played in the Holiday Bowl last year against Louisville and lit him up. So this kid can throw it. He can sling it. He was a top quarterback in his class coming out in high school. So I think we'll be primed and poised for a great season. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and we'll need a couple bounces.
Should Eli Manning be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think he's got to be. I mean.
Got to be?
2 Super Bowl wins, beating the undefeated. Like his great moments are so great. They're legendary. The Tyreek catch, Plaxico Burress in the end zone, like beating the undefeated Patriots and then doing it again in Indy. The ball up the sideline, whether it was it Hakeem Nicks or
Manningham?
Yeah, Manningham, Mario Manningham. I mean, that's a tough one to say no to. There's too many, and it's hard, right? Because
well, there are 2 seasons. Because he didn't win another playoff game, but he did beat the Patriots, and there were memorable moments there.
You had a caller last week who talked about when you predicted that they would upset the Patriots, but their run in the playoffs, that was nasty. At the Packer, that was a tough run.
Yeah, but they didn't have a good regular season run. Therefore, they were on the road. They had to. I mean,
I know, but so I have a little bit of bias there because we never won our division, but we were some road playoff dogs, and it was a mentality. And the Giants had that year with Strahan and Coughlin, and I mean that defensive line. I just saw Justin Tuck at a soccer game at Yankee Stadium the other day, but we were reminiscing over couple of times he had chances to take my head off, and he kind of laid me down easy, which I appreciate.
Russell Wilson or Eli Manning?
Oh, wow.
Russ's regular season season numbers.
Fritzy sent me topics. This is not one of the topics. Just so we're absolutely clear.
I audibled.
Unbelievable. I need time to think about that one. I don't know. Russ has just one Super Bowl. I'm saying just one. I don't have any.
But then they lost the other one to the Patriots.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'll give you a week to study this. Do your homework.
I don't know, Coach. That's tough. I need to see blind resume first.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Just sometimes, I check down. Sometimes I audible. I mean, you never know. I'm kind of Payton Manning here.
All over the place.
Could Payton have taught you what he did?
The way he plays?
Like, is that teachable, what he does or he did?
Well, I think a good portion of that is the way he was raised, the way he learned the game, the way he was introduced to the game. And then the next part was his magic of taking it to that next level, of making it come to life.
But Eli didn't play that way. Eli didn't go to the line of scrimmage.
Well, much different systems, and Eli had different coordinators through his career.
Yeah.
Peyton had Tom Moore forever, and then started to develop the system for himself. And one of my favorite stories was when Tom Moore came back to consult with the Jets, and he basically told us we're winning in the championship game. We're winning at halftime, and Peyton comes out in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and just lights up our defense. And Tom Morris told Rex was like, "What happened? Your offense totally changed in the second half." And Tom goes, "I don't even think I called a play in the second half. Peyton just went off. He just did his own thing." And Rex was like, "No wonder why everything was different. He was moving people around. He switched routes up. He switched up concepts and just started picking on defensive players that he thought he could go after." And he kept waving Tom off. Tom just said, "I didn't call a damn play." It was unbelievable. And so that kind of stuff, it comes with time on task, the same system. So, I mean, could he have taught me? Sure. Do I perform it at the level that he performed it at? I mean, selfishly and my competitive nature says, hell yeah, I would. But is that a reality? I don't know. I mean, that's a hell of a feat.
All right. Before I let you go, 30 seconds. If I had every quarterback all time throw the javelin, who wins the gold?
Favre, Jeff George, Tebow, maybe Tebow.
Elway.
Oh shoot, Elway. God, rocket for now. That's terrible.
Randall Cunningham.
Maybe, but longer delivery. I don't know if that's what you want for the javelin. I'm not a.
There's no pass rush. There's no pass rush on the javelin.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Maybe Jamarcus Russell would win that.
Maybe. Yeah, it might be somebody with just one of those rocket arms that just didn't quite pan out as maybe the way you thought.
Great to talk to you. Give it thought.
I'd probably win the javelin throw, though.
Russell Wilson, Eli Manning, next time we talk, okay?
I know. I need to get on that.
Thank you, bud.
I appreciate you guys.
All right. That's Mark Sanchez, Fox NFL analyst, former NFL USC quarterback. I didn't know you gave him topics, Todd.
He requested some topics, and obviously, I thought he'd know the show better than that. You're not going to stick to a script.
Come on.
I said we're going to talk about, we'll ask your opinion about the kickoff rules and the onside kick, the dynamic kickoff, and maybe some of the young quarterbacks like Caleb and Jaden. And I guess
just tell him next time we're going to talk football, okay? You don't have to give him topics. Just say no.
He was like, "Oh, this wasn't on the list."
Todd didn't tell me that.
Eli Russell, I can't do this.
Look at him.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
he knows.
know.
That was soft. Hey, you
my God.
You guys are changing up your defense. Hey, that's not fair.
Imagine a pop quiz at USC.
Oh no!
What's that?
You had to go to class to get a pop quiz. Oh, can you believe that defense? They just switched up. What's going on?
Ridiculous. I'm out of here.
We're back after this.